everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a brow tutorial for you guys. It's definitely taken me a long time to get my brow routine perfect. Let's just say I was one of those people that plucked my brows so much when I was younger, and it kind of took a long time for them to grow back, and in the meantime I was kind of overfilling them in and putting too much product on them, and you know, it just took a while to get to this stage. But I'm really happy with the way my brows are at the moment, and I'm finding that I'm using less and less product on them and kind of just enhancing my own natural shape. But I definitely have a few tricks and tips to getting my brow the way it is right now, so I said I would share them with you. And yeah, let's jump right into the video. Okay, as you can see, I've gone ahead and done one brow just to show you the difference between when they're done and when they're not done. So now it's time to match this one to this, which can be a struggle. Brows are sisters, not twins. That saying is so true. But yes, I usually wouldn't do my brows after doing my eye makeup. I'd always kind of do my foundation, then my brows. But I had my makeup done tonight, so I'm just getting on with it. And while on that note, I know everybody does their brows differently, and brows are a very personal thing. So you may not like the way I do my brows, and that is perfectly fine. Some people like them more natural, some people like them kind of more filled in and really kind of structured. I kind of like mine in the middle, if that makes sense. I really like when the brow is structured, but I also like to be able to see the hair and kind of have a bit more of a natural feel to it. So a little bit fluffy, maybe a little bit brushed up, kind of at the front here, being able to see the longer hairs. But as I said, everyone to their own when it comes to brows. Also, I don't really get my brows done in New York. When I'm at home in Ireland, I do get them done more often, but out here I haven't really found anyone that I trust yet, so I kind of just pluck them myself and dye them myself. As you can see, I kind of have a fullish brow, but it's very light towards the end here, so that's kind of where I have to do most of my filling in. So to get started, the first thing I always do is brush my brows. So I just use a spoolie. This is a blank canvas brush. It has kind of like a eyebrow brush on this side, which I don't really like, but it has a spoolie on this side, which I love. So I would recommend to get your hands on a spoolie if you can, and I just literally brush the brow straight up. So this will just show you kind of the natural shape that you already have, which in turn will make it easier to fill in when you're doing that. The next thing I like to do is get my product, and I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prom Ads. So I'll just try and show you a close up there, the back of it there, so you can see the name. I have the shade dark brown. This is what it looks like in the front. And yeah, I've used this for years. I really like it. But the only thing I do find is it dries up a little bit quicker than I'd like it to. So a little trick I'm just going to quickly show you. If that happens to you and if your product dries up, spray a little bit of Fix Plus spray in it if you have that. I've talked about this 1,000,001 times, so I'm sure you know about it at this stage if you are a fan of my channel. But basically it's like a setting spray, a priming spray. It's good for wetting brushes with eyeshadows, but also it is good for kind of wetting your product a little bit and just kind of bringing it back to life. Now I've actually already done this, so I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to make it too watery. But yeah, that's just a good trick just in case that ever happens to you. And then I'm going to take my brush. So I use an angled brush. This is a Powder and Pout P410. I'll just show you a quick close-up of the top of it there. It's a little bit dirty because I just did one brow, but yeah, that's the shape of it, and it's super thin, which is what I go for. I like to be very precise, especially when I'm trying to kind of make hairs appear where they don't, which you will see in a minute. So yes, any thin angled brush will work for this. So I just dip my brush in the product. I never pick up too much because I feel like you're better off to kind of go in with a little bit each time rather than like putting on too much and then trying to bring it down, if that makes sense. So just a tiny bit of product at the start. And then I always start at the front of the brow here. So what I like to do is kind of carve out the bottom of the brow first. So yeah, literally just bringing that line all the way across the brow. And as you can see, I don't have much product on my brow. As I said, I like to have a very little amount, because if I do make a mistake here, then it'll be less cleaning up, and that's just easier in the long run because then you won't have kind of smudges and things like that, especially when it's a darker colour. So although the mistakes are definitely easy to clean up and you'll be able to do it, it's just better off if you can avoid them. So I pick up a bit more product there then, and I just start bringing it all the way over and underneath the brow. And this is an important time as well to kind of focus on your tail. So I actually add a bit more product there than the rest of the brow because, as I mentioned, it is one of the lighter areas. So this is where I actually get quite messy. I obviously go back and clean that up after, but I just get that tail nice and structured and dark, especially because I feel like that's the area that always comes out quite light on my brows. And after I have that done, I come back to the front of the brow And this is where I make the front look nice and fluffy. So I turn the brow on its side and I go upwards rather than over. So with very little product on the brush, I like to go up and create hair strokes. As you can see, I do have quite a few hairs here already, but I like to just add 1 or 2 more, especially here at the front going out this way. And this just gives the illusion of very fluffy brows at the front and just kind of enhances what you have as well. So I'll show you now. So I literally just get the brush straight on its side and I just create hair strokes. And don't worry now if they're too big or too long, because you can go in and cut them down afterwards. But as you can see there, it really makes your brows look a little bit more natural at the front, and you can go in afterwards with your finger and just take off the bits that went too long, instead of going in with concealer or anything like that, because that's kind of when it's going to start looking blocky. You want it to look really fluffy and natural, and brushing the brows at the end again, which I will be doing, will help that also. The next thing I do then is I start filling in the rest of the brow, so the top of the brow here, but as you can see it's coming together quite quickly. So for this I keep it quite natural, put the brush on its side again, and I kind of do motions going this way rather than across like I was doing below. So below, you know, I kind of did it across in a straight line, whereas at the top I do it in this kind of a motion. So you'll see what I mean now when I do it. So I kind of grab the brush and go like that. So I go in the direction of the hair growth. So the way the hair is right now, that's the way I'm bringing the product. So like that. And this just again ensures that your brows will stay a bit more natural. You want them to look kind of just enhanced basically. Now I know some people wouldn't have as much hair as me, so of course you have to maybe fill them in a bit more, but if you have a similar shape to me and similar hair, you might find this technique good. Now as you can see, it's gone a bit over there now, but I'm going to fix that after, so don't worry. Okay, so the next step is a pretty important one. I'm going to go in with concealer to carve out the brow and make it look nice and structured, but without making it look too boxy and unnatural. So I'm going to show you exactly how I achieve that. I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Finish Concealer. So this is this one right here. This is just a brilliant concealer for this. I think it's probably my favorite, and I've tried a few. It's just a really nice consistency and texture, and it's a good coverage as well, so it's good at carving things out. And I use that in the shade NW15, which is the lightest one as far as I know. And I'm going to be using a Laura Mercier brush. This one is called the Secret Camouflage, and it's just a really great shape. Again, it's kind of dirty because I use it on my other brow, but as you can see, the shape is really good and it's nice and thin. So yeah, I just love this particular brush for this technique. So without picking up too much product, I just dip the brush into the concealer and I carve out the brow. So what that basically means is I'm going to straighten up any mistakes I made down here, and in turn make the skin a little bit lighter underneath the brow, which will just enhance it a bit more. I start at the front here again and I just carve out the brow, making sure it's all nice and straight. And I'll be fixing any mistakes I made. So the mistake I made here, I'll be fixing that. Now I know this step won't be for everyone, and not everyone will have time to do this every day. I totally get that. But the more you do it, the quicker you get at it, to be honest, and it actually takes me hardly no time now. But again, if you want a more natural brow and you don't really want it to be super structured or super enhanced, you're not going to have to do this. But it does make the world of a difference. And that is kind of the hardest part done. I do go in with a tiny bit of concealer on top of my brow, just in the areas that I kind of might have made a mistake or gone too far out with. But overall, I don't do like all the concealer on top as well, because I think that can look a little bit too severe. Usually I'll only do it on the arch. So if I go up too high with the arch, I'll go around it like that, and just fixing any bits maybe on the tail that I might have gone out a bit too far with. But I usually don't bring it in this area and this area. And now for the very last step, and probably one of my favorite steps, I'm going to apply some brow mascara. So I just use the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, which is this one here. I think the writing's gone off it, but this is what it looks like. And this is just called a clear brow gel, and basically it's kind of just like a mascara gel for your brows. This has no colour in it, but you can get colour in some of them if you like, and what it does, it just keeps the brow in place. And for people like me that kind of like their brows brushed up and a little bit more natural looking, it just helps kind of get your brow to that stage. If you don't like your brow pushed up at the front, you can definitely kind of push it over as well. Really, in total, it will just keep your brow in place, which is what you want. throughout the day, you know, if you hit off your brow with your hand or if it gets itchy or things like that, this will kind of stop it from smudging. I only bought this one last year, and at the start I wasn't mad about it, but it's actually really grown on me. And yeah, I just would not be able to skip this step now. I love it so much. So I literally just brush through the brow. At the front I brush up like I would with the spoolie, and then I brush upwards, kind of going more to the side towards the end. And as you can see, it just makes the brow look a little bit more kind of hairy and fluffy. I have quite thick hair, so I find it hard to get my brows to look kind of hairy and things like that. They always look very filled in no matter what I do, but this definitely helps. And yeah, I just love that step. It really just finishes it off for me. So if you want to achieve this look but you either don't want to buy brow gel, or maybe you're just a bit on the fence before buying one, what you can do is get a hairspray and get a spoolie. As I mentioned, I think you probably should have a spoolie in your life, but I'm pretty sure you can buy like disposable ones and things like that in the pharmacy if you just want to try this out. And basically spray your spoolie with the hairspray and brush up your brow with that, and that works just as well. Also, when I'm on holidays, or say if I'm going swimming and things like that, I actually use this trick because it's more long lasting and it's a little bit more tough. So yes, if you want to try that out, I would recommend it. And yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of my videos. And please comment below as well if there's anything you want me to do for the channel, if there's anything you'd like to see. I do 2 videos a week now, and although I have loads and loads of ideas, I really want to produce content and videos that you find helpful and that you want to see. So definitely let me know in the comments. And yes, thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!